Welcome to the Power Hour, NWA Power. That used to be Nintendo Power Hour, but I thought I'd throw it in because it kind of makes sense. The Power Hour does make some sense because it is nearly an hour. Oh my goodness, that sounds so long-winded. Okay, let's get into episode 7, The Phoenix Rises. But I want to just say this briefly. Thank you. I didn't expect more than 10 people to see this video, and it went up to about 80. Honestly, thanks. I didn't expect it. And I know I could say this like I usually at the end of this review, but why sometimes? If you really feel like something's important, then it means something, just blurt it out and say it. And then feel like an idiot afterward. Well, I don't feel like an idiot at the moment, but still, anyway. The Phoenix Rises. This episode was actually quite good. We had some quirks, some questions, particularly with the question mark. And we had a new arrival. Let's get into it. The opening is an interview with Aldous. And he pretty much says, I am here to give a guy a chance who was with me back in 2007 when I was starting out. And that was Murdoch. So he decided he wanted to give him an exhibition match. Now the thing about Murdoch is that he's still not contracted to supposedly NWA Powerrr. He's not part of the NWA. He's not part of the NWA Power Hour. Well, not Power Hour, but NWA Powerrr and the show itself. So he's just trying to get a contract. He's trying to get seen. So we get the match. It was a good match. Oh, almost forgot. One of the things was spoken when it came to Marquez. He did ask about Kamille, and pretty much Aldous said simply, if she's not here, that's on her. That was her call. You'll see that a lot of that was brought into the show, but not in a lot of words or in a lot of segments, but a lot of meaning. Now back to the match. Was the match between Murdoch and Aldous good? Well, it wasn't bad. Murdoch is not a bad wrestler, but unlike most other wrestlers out there that is in the modern era, that pretty much does a lot of aerial and a good amount of smash mouth, there was very little aerial in this match. This was all about wrestling moves, and I'm sure if you're not a fan of wrestling moves, you're going to think this was totally, completely, and undeniably boring. But this is setting up for Murdoch to get a contract. That's what this is really all about. I know there's still a story what's going with Aldous and Kamille. And I got to say this, I'm very curious about what's going to happen with Kamille. But this was a little piece of Murdoch getting in time his contract. Because it makes perfect sense to give him a contract by going through different people. And eventually the brass in the back is going to look at him and say, you know what? Yeah, you haven't been you haven't been wrestling for a while. You now come back from semi-retirement, and now you've been putting on some decent matches that some people have been enjoying. All right. And the one thing I liked was at one point in the match, I didn't catch the shot. I decided not to because it was very difficult to get some of these shots because of how the cameras are. They're using generally full-size cameras, along with two smaller cameras, and it can be difficult to get good shots. But you got Aldous getting his gonads messed up on one of the ring ropes because Murdoch shook it with his own foot. Once Aldous won, he says, you know what? You're one crafty son of a bitch. I respect you. And he walks away. No attitude, no hitting, no punching, no kicking, no nothing. Now, if Aldous is going to keep playing this attitude, I'm fine with it. But I am the type that still likes the old madness. That pretty much when he gets lit, he gets mad, and he turns heel, he's good at it. So I'm hoping that maybe eventually he will turn into a really nasty heel. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Now, we had the Rock and Roll Express come out in an interview and pretty much said they want their titles back. They had been, 9-time champs? Or is it 8? I think they're 9-time champs. And they want to become 10-time champs. Now, if I'm wrong, they may want to become 9-time champs. I can't remember if they had 8 title reigns or 9. But it doesn't matter which one. They want to become champs. Now, here's the thing. I'm not against the Rock and Roll Express. They've been seen in AEW. They've been seen in WWE at the, I'm not saying they didn't deserve to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, because they did work with the WWE, and they worked with, well, at least a couple of times, and then worked with WCW. They did. So they do have the right to do it. But we're talking about two guys in their early to mid 60s, still running the ring, which is not 100% bad. They can still do it. But it is going to be a question how far they're going to go with this. Because once you look at Wild Card and Labrador and what is the guy's name? Isaac. There you go. I liked him. I just still don't know who Isaac is. Not saying that the segment they had afterward was bad. Isaac talked. He sounded good. But since I've never seen him before, I really want to see more body of his work, so I can really know not only can he hold a promo, but I saw he seems to go well in the ring. Only seen him once. So you guys tell me below, have you seen anything in Isaac? I'm really wondering, how good is he? Is he good? Is he not good? I just don't know yet. Now, I gotta say this now. You got Austin Idol. And the kayfabe, he's in my face. The kayfabe cocktail. He says, you know, I am one of the most sexiest men in the world, Austin Idol. And I am with this drink. We are both the best. Kayfabe cocktail is the best drink you can ever drink. And if you're lonely and you want to get that significant other, or better yet, if you're lonely in your door, at your apartment, at your house, you're standing at that door. He didn't say this, but this is what I'm saying. Let's say you're standing at your door, just lonely, putting your head up against the wall on your door like this, and then you hear this gorgeous voice down the hallway saying, hey, I forgot my lingerie in the laundromat. I better go downstairs and get it. And you think, I know who that is. That's got to be that incredibly gorgeous woman that lives right near me. I need the kayfabe cocktail to convince her that I am the workhorse of her life. He's in my face again. Look, I've said it before and I say it again. This is exactly like, what was it? WWF main event, when Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon had the most stupidest segment you could ever see. Another segment that had Danny Deals in there. I think there's an actual website. I'm not sure if that's a real website, about highflying.com, getting stuff for faces, heels, belts, ring stuff. I don't know if that's real, but seeing these little skits or possibly actual real stuff, one, it does help the wrestling business if it's real. Two, even if they're not real, just these stupid skits are so freaking funny. I wish the WWE, NXT, or AEW would do these type of skits because they're damn funny. Wrestling doesn't have to be so serious about its wrestling moves, about its storylines. You need entertainment. Look what happened with Breezango. And when they were acting like the guys from, I really never saw much of the X-Files, but I always knew it was interesting, but I never really saw it much due to the fact it was working so much. But seeing Breezango doing the X-Files parody was awesome. It was so good. And seeing these little skits, they're not great, but they're still funny as hell and it's different. And I love that. I gotta admit it, I love it. Now, we had a match between the Question Mark versus Richie Stark. I guess the reason I botch here is it's understandable what had to happen because the match was fine. It wasn't 100% bad, but you got Colt Cabana at commentary. And you're kind of surprised that commentary would have Colt there. I mean, yes, he's the national champion, but unless they're doing this often, and I'm hoping it isn't that it was rare, it felt different. That's the reason why I felt a little strange to see Colt there, because they haven't shown anyone at commentary table. So seeing if it was the champions, that's what I want. Only the champions to go to the commentary table once in a while. That's cool. And once Aaron Stevens comes back, beats up on Stark. You got Colt Cabana coming in, and then you're going to have a match later in the night. It wasn't bad, and it really does set up for later in the night. Eli Drake as well as Mr. Anderson had their moment. Here's the thing. I love Eli Drake. The guy next to MJF. Anyone understand? If you compare MJF to Eli Drake, this is MJF. This is Eli Drake. I'm sorry. Eli is a better talker. He works better in the ring. He just has a presence that is just one of the best. And it kind of hurts that he isn't in AEW. I hope one day he will go there. But honestly, if you compared it to, and I love MJF, but you got MJF here, who's still young in the business, and you got Eli Drake here. You know I'm Eli Drake, and let me talk to you. I know how to make it always work. I know how to get people to do what I want, and I know that I'm going to eventually become national champion. That is Eli Drake. And now he's working with Anderson. And I'm not saying I don't still care about Anderson, but because I don't know the backstory of what's been going on before episode 1 of NWA Powerrr, because they're still going off what happened before this. And this is one of the major problems when you start something up. If something happened at a pay-per-view or at a live event, like if they did an event which wasn't recorded, you wouldn't actually know what's going on. And I feel like there might need to be more here. Not saying that what happened at least 2 episodes ago wasn't important, but still it feels like it needs more. Eli Drake wants to become national champion. You know it. Then Anderson is mad that Eli Drake screwed him over. Yes, it makes sense, but it feels like in this situation, because this is only episode 7, it needs more. I want to see Eli Drake mess with Colt Cabana. I'm being honest here. I know Ricky Starks is going to try and get that title. He's going to try and challenge. But wouldn't you rather see Eli Drake versus Colt Cabana than Colt Cabana going against Ricky Starks, who is dealing with Aaron Steen, where you don't know where the question mark is going to end up? I just don't feel like it's the right thing at this moment. This is just me. You guys tell me below. Okay, a women's match. Well, women's tag match. You got the champion, Alyssa Kay. What's it? Yeah. Alyssa Kay and Vok versus Marty Bell and Thunder Rose. I always forget Selena's... Ashley. There you go. I don't know why I keep messing up Alyssa and Ashley. Always, that pisses me off. Those 2 names, I knew someone that was named Ashley. And I always said Alyssa. I'm just stupid. But was this match good? It was okay. But the person that made this match mean something was not Ashley. It was not Ashley. Don't mind me. It was about Melina. Melina walks down from the crowd. Melina in a black dress with a long, what do they call those things? A long mane or whatever it's called. I can't remember what they usually have for a long train. That's it, a long train for a woman. She walks out to the ring, stands there, and pretty much our champion stares at her like a stupid, ridiculous stupid face, saying, "What are you doing out here?" when she should have paid attention to what was going in the ring. And I believe it was Marty who got the pin. No, it was Thunder Rosa who got the pin, and it was Marty, as you can see her in my face, she gave her a good elbow to the face. And in the end, Melina now holds up Marty and Thunder Rosa, not in her hands, but pretty much she's now working with them, and those drums truly make it mean something. Thunder Rosa's drums really mean something. Like, you know they're going to the dark side. When you hear the music from Star Wars, dun, 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 I can't go any further because I might get copyright. But you get my point. Thunder Rosa has a theme of how evil she is, and those drums make it sound evil, and now Melina is working with them. I don't know if she can wrestle or not. I don't know if she's injured. I don't know if she's not injured. I don't know if she's fully contracted to NWA Powerrr or NWA, I'm sorry. But you get my point. She's now there. And admittedly, I haven't seen Melina. Oh my goodness. I don't remember the last time I saw Melina. Maybe in about 9 years? The last time I saw her in any capacity? Because I haven't looked at her on YouTube. And I definitely haven't looked at any of the major shows like Shine or Glow or anything else that she might have been involved with. So this will be interesting what's going to happen. Finally, we get the match that was set up earlier in the night. That would be the question working with, surprising, the question working with Aaron Stevens, where the question is loved by the crowd and everyone can't stand Stevens. And then you got Colt as well as Starks. I'm not saying I hate the question, but I'm shocked people take into him so quickly. I mean, those vignettes did a pretty good job, and then him going into the ring makes it even more interesting. It was a good match. In the end, we had two things. One, you had Stevens trying to run up on Question. Kept trying to get some pops, and he could not get it. Then again, another thing. You got Stevens mooning the crowd. I haven't seen anything like that in years. Of course, they didn't let the camera just point right at him. And of course, he was probably wearing some ring trunks under the pants. As you see in my face, that was the only shot you could get. And it was Jim Cornette who said, I'm so glad the camera is not in that position that everyone else is seeing. Of course he's got some ring trunks on, but him mooning the crowd was a nice touch. I laughed my ass off. In the end, when it was all over, you got, I'll say this, we do not know what's going to happen with Starks and Stevens. Stevens nails Starks after the Question nails Starks with his signature move. So how far they're going to go, I don't know. It's just a big question. As they're closing the show, you get the James Storm coming out mad as hell that you got Aldis just doing exhibition matches. You got Colt Cabana doing these stupid matches. And he's mad as hell that when he was champ, he defended it. He didn't give a damn. And then Kamille walks out to him. Now, we did hear from Wildcard and Lavender said that they're just friends. Him and Kamille. And then now Kamille walks up to a James Storm. She stares, as you can see in my face, at the crowd. Then she calls him over and whispers in his ear. He walks away. No, not he. She walks away. And pretty much James Storm says into the camera and into the mic, sorry about your damn look. And he walks away, the music hits, and you got more questions than answers. What's going on? Is James Storm going to be working with Aldis about something? Is James Storm going to work with Aldis so he can get his national championship back? Is Kamille working with now James Storm? Is she doing something without Aldis' permission? What are they doing? What is Lavender involved in? You don't know where he is because he says they're friends, so why would you open your damn mouth? Something is going on between Aldis, Kamille, now James Storm, and Lavender of Wildcard. I have no idea what's going on, but this is fun. I enjoyed this. I'm not going to say you guys are going to 100% like this episode. You might not. It doesn't have high flying in it. It's more lower to grapple. And a little high flying in it. It's more story driven at this point. But this is episode 7. Like what's going on in AEW. AEW is doing a lot of wrestling and not a lot of storytelling. Here they're doing some storytelling, a good amount of it, with some comedy, with those skits, some wrestling, and you're left with questions. So I find this show much more balanced. For me, that's my taste. Not because I don't like high flying as well when I'm in the mood. I'm still a person who likes like a balanced match of a good amount of high flying, a good amount of grapple wrestling, and psychology. For anyone else, they're probably going to say this is a boring ass match. It's going to be for old people who don't know any better about the new modern era. But if you see beyond that, Even if you're young or old who sees beyond there's not enough flips or kicks or punches, you'll see this was well done. It wasn't perfect, but it was well done. You'll enjoy it. But it is my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!